What's going on, you guys? It's Rahul here, back again with another video, and today is actually kind of like a not too normal video. So basically, it's actually an unscripted video, and I wanted to do more of these since, well, it doesn't take that much time to do these videos. So yeah, that's of course easy for me. And also, I just really like doing these unscripted videos, I guess, and I kind of wanted to do like a casual talk thing since, I mean, that is a big reason why I started YouTube. So with all that being said, you guys are the title of the video. 5 possible destinations for Chris Paul to go to. And before we do get started, make sure you like the video if you guys did enjoy, as it really helps out the channel. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are new, as I'm trying to reach 100 subscribers, and I will be doing a Q&A when we reach 100. So if you guys want to learn more about me, click the subscribe button if you guys are new. And there's videos like this already on the channel, and there's going to be videos like this in the future. So if you guys like the type of content, drop a like and subscribe. But now let's just get started with today's video. So now I'm going to look at 5 possible Chris Paul trades that could possibly happen. And the first trade is the Chris Paul to the Milwaukee Bucks, and that involves the Thunder getting Robin Lopez, Eric Bledsoe, DJ Wilson, Dante DiVincenzo, and 2 firsts, with the Bucks getting Chris Paul. Now, I definitely proposed an idea of a Chris Paul trade in my What's Next for the Milwaukee Bucks video, and I'll leave a card in the card above if I do remember. So yeah, hopefully I remember. But anyways, I think this is a great move for the Bucks, as it gives them a great second option, and they need to go all in on keeping Giannis Antetokounmpo, because after these 2 playoff runs that ended in disappointment, especially 2020, because at least in 2019 they made the Eastern Conference Finals, and that was something. But 2020 sucked for them. But getting to the point, really, the Bucks really do need to go all in on keeping Giannis, because there's already heavy rumors about him leaving and all, and they just need to keep him. And I think getting Chris Paul, it would definitely do a great job of doing that. It gives them a great second option. Chris Paul is a very good leader. You can act as another ball handler. He's also he's a good ball handler, as I said before. He's a very good playmaker and passer, one of the best of all time. He's a very good shooter and scorer, and really the guy's I think it would be great on this team. And I think if they want to make the offense a little bit more versatile, I mean, they can use Giannis more as a traditional big man, where Chris Paul is a ball handler and you can run like Giannis and Chris Paul pick and rolls. I think that would be very good for this team. But I think Chris Paul to the Bucks would not be a bad trade, and I think it's one that we all think is a very real possibility. And the second trade is Chris Paul to the New York Knicks, in which the Thunder would get Julius Randle, Bobby Portis, Dennis Smith Jr., a Clippers first in 2020, and a Mavericks first in 2021. Now, the Knicks would obviously get Chris Paul. Now, I want to say this first, no hate to the New York Knicks fans, because I feel bad for you guys. You know, I don't really care about the New York Knicks, to be honest. You know, I feel very bad for them, but I do have to admit, it gets really annoying when the media starts all these BS rumors of every star going to the New York Knicks. Like, please, media, shut up with all of these players going to the New York Knicks, alright? Now, unlike a lot of these the trades they come up with don't make any sense. But enough with that ranting. I mean, this one actually makes quite a bit of sense when you think about it. You know, they hired Tom Thibodeau, which is not too bad of a hire, and adding Chris Paul would get a great culture for the young players on that roster, like RJ Barrett and Mitchell Robinson and Damian Dotson. So that's really good for the young players. You know, Chris Paul's his leadership is a huge reason why he's one of the top point guards in the league. Like, the guy doesn't put any crazy flashy numbers like he used to in his prime days with the Clippers or the then New Orleans Hornets. But I mean, the guy, his leadership is a huge reason why he's so good. And I think it'd be great for RJ Barrett, as he can teach him some things and help him refine his game and all, and it can establish a very good culture. And I mean, Chris Paul would be really good for this New York Knicks team, and I do think it would be good if the Knicks could get Chris Paul, as not only that would it help develop the roster, it could also, one thing the Knicks really do seem intent on doing, like how they want to rebuild, is use their big market to their advantage and try to draw a big name free agent to their team, and I think that would actually be the Knicks. Like, if they did that, that would be very good for them. As not only that, if a star is like, hey, you know what, I want to go to the New York Knicks, Chris Paul is there, he's done, look what he's done with these young guys, they can be good role players. I mean, I don't really like it where I am now, so why not just start going to go to the New York Knicks? That would be really good for their team, and I think getting Chris Paul would be a very big move for them. But enough with that, and my third trade is Chris Paul to the 76ers, where the Thunder would get Josh Richardson, Al Horford, Thunder first in 2020 and 2021, 76ers first. Now, of course, I mean, the reason why Al Horford, I mean, I want to talk about this. The Thunder, if they'll probably have to take Al Horford for this deal to work, but I do think they will want like maybe 2 or 3 first round picks, since they're probably thinking like, all right, then we're gonna take this really bad contract, but at the same time, give us a couple of first round picks. And I think the 76ers will do that, and the 76ers will get Chris Paul. And I mean, of course, Daryl Morey, I think he was hired as the president of basketball operations, and he has a lot of power now in that front office, so I could see him making this move since this guy is a modern basketball pundit. I mean, of course, he traded for Chris Paul, and I think he would really like to do it for this team too. And I think he would be great for this team as a good leader. Maybe he could get Ben Simmons to finally start shooting the ball more. Maybe Doc Rivers could do that. He also, oh yeah, speaking of Doc Rivers, I mean, Chris Paul used to be coached by Doc Rivers on the Clippers for a while, you know, so that's, I guess, something you can see there. I mean, now their starting lineup for me would probably be something like Chris Paul, I mean, Shake Milton or Matisse Thybulle maybe, and then you have Ben Simmons, Tobias Harris, and Joel Embiid. I think that's a pretty good starting 5, since, I mean, you immediately improve the spacing on that team. Maybe you run, like, I know the Funky Diabetic suggested that they maybe run some, like, horn sets or whatever. I mean, I'm not a big basketball X's and O's nerd, I just know a little bit about it, but anyways, I think, you know, having Chris Paul's a ball handler with him running pick and rolls with Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons would be great, with some off-ball action. Maybe he runs a pick and pop with Tobias Harris occasionally, and maybe he could run it with Ben Simmons too, occasionally, if he starts to shoot, you know. And then also maybe they can have like Ben Simmons doing some, you know, just some classic attacking the basket with some off-ball action on the side, and you know, looking for shooters and some stuff like that. But anyways, enough with that. I mean, I think this would be great for the 76ers. They get another ball handler and shot creator who's a good 3-point shooter, so that's very good, since they can improve the spacing already. Since, I mean, Josh Richardson, he's not too bad from 3. I mean, although he did shoot poorly this year. I mean, Ben Simmons, right now, this guy's a liability. Who knows? Maybe one day he will improve. Joel Embiid, he's just not a 3-point shooter. He's not a modern day. He's not a stretch big or anything like that. Tobias Harris, pretty good stretch 4, but I mean, that's a pretty good roster, you know. But with all that, oh no, Josh Richardson is would not be on the 76ers with this trade. I mean, Matisse Thybulle, I mean, he has to improve his jump shot, so but I do think if he can improve that, that would be great. But enough with the 76ers, Chris Paul and the 76ers talk. My 4th trade would be Chris Paul to the Chicago Bulls. And in this one, the Thunder would get Otto Porter, Thomas Satoransky, and 2 firsts, while the Bulls get Chris Paul. Now, this one might come a little bit as a surprise. Now, personally, I've actually seen a few people suggesting this trade, and this wouldn't actually be too bad when you think about it. I mean, Bulls fans really like Kobe White. I think Kobe White's an okay player, but I think Chris Paul would be great for this team, as not only do they get a very good player, he'd be a great leader for Kobe White. He can teach him some point guard stuff, and you know, all that. We saw what he did with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, you know, and I think if he can do that, teach Kobe White some stuff, and you know, have him under his wing, eventually he can take over the starting role. And Chris Paul, well, you know, who knows what happens, but like, you know, Chris Paul would be great for this team as a leader. Not only that, but the Bulls now get a big 3 of Chris Paul, Zach LaVine, and Lauri Markkanen. Not only that, but he would establish a great culture, and he was also coached by Billy Donovan just this past season, you know, so I think him on the Bulls would not be that bad, you know. And if Lauri Markkanen and Wendell Carter Jr. take some jumps, and Zach LaVine improves some stuff in his game, and he becomes an all-star level player, this team would be pretty good, you know. You could run a starting lineup of Chris Paul, Zach LaVine. I mean, who'd you put at small forward? That is a bit of a question. I mean, man, I'm trying to think. Would they put someone like... That is something I'm thinking of. Maybe you put... I don't think Kobe White would be on the floor. maybe you put someone like Chandler Hutchinson. I just thought of that. I'm sorry. I'm sorry if I'm forgetting anyone. And then maybe you put Larry Markkinen and Wendell Carter Jr. I mean, that's pretty good. You know, Chris Paul and Larry Markkinen running pick and pops with off-ball action on the side would be really good too. So yeah, that's some pretty good stuff. With all that being said, now let's move on to the final trade, and that's Chris Paul to the Dallas Mavericks, where the Thunder would get Dwight Powell, Tim Hardaway Jr., DeLon Wright, and 2 firsts, while the Mavericks get Chris Paul. I mean, it's not too bad, I guess. I mean, I could see the Thunder not doing this, mainly because there's maybe a better offer on the table. Not only that, but the Mavericks are a Western Conference team. They're just like, let's not strengthen this team. We are not strengthening this team. Alright? So, who knows? Maybe that. But if this trade were to happen, I think it would be good for the Mavericks, since the Mavericks need another secondary playmaker on that team and shot creator, because Luka Doncic, the reason why his 3-point percentage is so low is because he has to take so many off the dribble. And you know, if someone is there to set you up, or by like, you know, running off of a screen and someone just passes you the ball, and chances are you're gonna get a lot easier of a look, and rather than like dribbling the ball and then, you know, finally picking the ball up and shooting it, because chances are you gotta deal with a little bit of contest. But anyways, going on to that, you know, Chris Paul would be great for this team as a good leader, especially considering how, like the young guys on this team, like Luka Doncic and Kristaps Porzingis. He'd be a good leader, of course, and of course they aren't the youngest team out there, but I think he'd be really good as a leader. He's also a very good player next to Luka Doncic, who'd be great to get next to Luka Doncic because of his shot creating ability and his defense too. Yeah, I gotta mention Chris Paul's defense too. You know, it's also pretty good, you know. And Luka Doncic, he's not a great defender. He's by no means a liability, but I mean, Chris Paul can cover for him on that end, because since Chris Paul's a good defender, and he'd also be just a good shot creator and playmaker. You know, I'm just saying some of the same stuff. Sorry about that, but I guess you could run his starting 5 of Chris Paul, Luka Doncic, and then who'd you put at small forward? That is a bit of a question, man. I mean, I can always pull up the Mavericks roster. I mean, who knows? Dorian Finney-Smith. Yeah, Dorian Finney-Smith. Then Kristaps Porzingis, maybe you play him at center, and you put Maxi Kleber as your power forward. Not a bad idea, but that's kind of all I have to say for today's video. So if you guys did enjoy today's video, make sure you like the video, as it really helps out the channel. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. I'm trying to reach 100 subscribers, and it would be greatly appreciated if we could reach that goal. But with all of that being said, I'm out, you guys.